Hello students, welcome to my YouTube channel. Today we will learn about the chapter 15, Introduction to Ratio and Proportion. So firstly, we know about what is ratio and proportion. So what is a ratio? So we can define the ratio as the ratio is the comparison between two quantities. Ratio is comparison between two quantities of same kind. The quantities should be of same kind and the units of the quantities must be same. If we are talking about the ratio, then it is the comparison between two quantities and the quantities must be of same kind and the units of the quantities must be the same. Now moving on, how to write a ratio. How to write a ratio. We learn how to write a ratio. Let's get an example. Ratio of land to water. If we write ratio of land to water from the whole earth, मतलब अगर हम अर्थ पे जो लैंड है और जो वाटर है उनका रेशियो लिखना चाहें तो अर्थ को हम 3 पार्ट्स में डिवाइड करेंगे. उस 3 पार्ट में से 1 पार्ट इज द लैंड एंड द अदर 2 पार्ट्स मस्ट बी वाटर. लाइक इफ दिस इज ए अर्थ, देन वी डिवाइड द अर्थ इन 3 इक्वल पार्ट्स. If this part is land, then other 2 parts are the water. And there is a symbol for ratio, that is semicolon symbol, and we call it ratio. There is a symbol for ratio, 2 dots in vertically up and down, and this symbol is called ratio. No, like we have to write, if we want to write 2 numbers as a ratios, then we write 1, then we put the symbol of ratio 2 dots, and then we write 2. This is called 1 ratio 2. If we want to write this, like we go to a market and bought 4 bananas and 3 apples, then we write the ratio of bananas to apples as 4 ratio 3. As 4 ratio 3. If we are talking about the first unit, the first object must be here firstly, and the second term we write as second. Just like an example, if let's get here, how to write a ratio. How to write a ratio? Like we have 2 units A and B. If we have 2 units A and B, then we write A ratio B is equal to A upon B. Then the first term A is called antecedent, and the second term B is called consequent. The second term B is called consequent. And we can write ratios as, and how we write a fraction, then the ratio we can write in as fraction form. That's it. If we write A ratio B, then we can write A upon B. Ratio is nothing but a comparison, and we can write a comparison by the dividing sign या division sign. तो रेशियो को अगर हमको लिखना है फ्रैक्शन के फॉर्म में, तो हम रेशियो को क्या लिख सकते हैं? अब अगर हम लिखते हैं A रेशियो B, तब उसको हम ये भी पढ़ सकते हैं A अपॉन B. इस तरह से हम रेशियोज को क्या कर सकते हैं? लिख सकते हैं. और उस रेशियो का जो A पार्ट है, A को हम कहेंगे एंटीसेडेंट, एंड जो रेशियो का सेकंड फॉर्म होता है, जो सेकंड टर्म है उस रेशियो का, उसको लिखेंगे कॉन्सिक्वेंट. नाउ वन मोस्ट इम्पॉर्टेंट थिंग टू नोट दैट, अगर एक बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट चीज है नोट करने के लिए, A रेशियो B कभी भी A रेशियो B रेशियो के इक्वल नहीं हो सकता. जैसे अगर इफ यू वांट टू राइट दिस, अगर हम लिखते हैं 1 रेशियो 2, तो 1 रेशियो 2 इज नॉट इक्वल टू 2 रेशियो 1. बिकॉज अगर हम इसको थोड़ा सा एक्सप्लेन करके देखा जाए तो हम क्या लिख सकते हैं, 1:2 को हम लिख सकते हैं 1/2 एंड 2:1 को हम लिख सकते हैं 2/1 एंड नंबर्स हम पहले ही पढ़ चुके हैं और नंबर्स के बारे में हम जानते हैं कि 1:2 व 1/2 कभी भी 2/1 के इक्वल नहीं हो सकता है। इसीलिए यहाँ से ये कंक्लूजन निकलता है कि A/B इज नॉट इक्वल टू B/A। A/B B/A के इक्वल कभी भी हो नहीं सकता। अब रेशियोज कैसे लिखते हैं कि अगर हमको कोई वर्ड प्रॉब्लम दिए रहेंगे तो उसको रेशियोज के फॉर्म में कैसे लिखेंगे, हाउ टू राइट रेशियोज इफ वी हैव वन वर्ड प्रॉब्लम्स देन हाउ टू राइट इट एज रेशियोज। like there is a girl Saloni who goes to market and buys 12 carrots and he buys 12 carrots and 16 bananas. Saloni goes to market and buys 12 carrots and 16 bananas. Then the most important thing is that कि what ratio we have to write, कि हमको किसका रेशियो लिखना है, किसके कंपैरिजन में लिखना है। तो जिसके कंपैरिजन में लिखना रहेगा तो वो बाद में रहेगा तो उसकी क्वांटिटी बाद में लिखी जाएगी और जिससे कंपेयर करना रहेगा उसकी क्वांटिटी पहले लिखी जाएगी। जैसे अगर हमारा क्वेश्चन ये है, फाइंड द रेशियो ऑफ नंबर ऑफ कैरेट्स टू बनानाज, रेशियो ऑफ नंबर ऑफ कैरेट्स टू बनानाज। तो नंबर ऑफ कैरेट्स टू बनानाज लिखना है तो सबसे पहले लिखेंगे कितने कैरेट्स उसने खरीदे हैं, तो कैरेट्स कितने खरीदे थे 12 एंड बनानास कितने खरीदे थे तो 16, तो 12:16। अगर इसी को हम उलट दें, इफ वी रिवर्स दिस ऑर्डर, जैसे राइट द रेशियो ऑफ नंबर ऑफ बनानास टू कैरेट्स, इफ वी रिवर्स द ऑर्डर दैट रेशियो ऑफ नंबर ऑफ बनानास टू carrots, then we write how many bananas he bought. He bought 16 bananas. And how many carrots he bought? He bought 12 carrots. So we can see here carrots to bananas is different ratio and bananas to carrots is different ratio. So we from here conclude that A/B is not equal to B/A. This is what we have learned about ratio. So A/B cannot be equal to B/A, and the first term of a ratio is called antecedent and the second term of a ratio is called consequent. And the ratio we can write as the fraction form. The ratio we can write as a fraction form. Now moving on, we have learned about fraction, and in fraction we have two types of fraction, that is called like fraction and unlike fraction. So now we move to what are like and unlike fraction. So what is like fraction? Everyone know about what is like fraction. The fraction that have same denominator. If there is a fraction and whose denominator is same, that is called like fraction, and a fraction whose denominator is not same, that is denominator is different, that is called unlike fraction. Example, if we go for like fraction, then the examples of like fractions are 1/2, 3/2, 4/2, 5/2. The denominator may or may not be equal. The denominator must be, if the denominator is 2, then all the fraction denominator must be 2. If the denominator is 3, then all the other fraction whose are like fraction, those denominator must be 3. Example number 2, if we write 1/3 or 3/4, then we write 5/4, 7/4, 4/4, 8/4. The denominator of all the fractions are same, that's why we call it like fraction. If the denominator is not same, if the denominator changes, then the fraction like fraction becomes unlike fraction. So what are unlike fractions? We have to just change the denominator. The denominator must not be equal. If my first fraction is 1 by 2, then second fraction we write 3 upon 6 or 3 upon 9. The denominator of first fraction is 2 and the denominator of second fraction is 9. So these two fractions are unlike fractions. These two fractions are unlike fractions. Next example, example number 2. If we write 3 upon 5, then the second fraction whose denominator cannot be equal to 5. Then if we write the second fraction, that denominator must not be equal to 5. We can write 2 upon 3. The denominator of first fraction is 5 and the denominator of second fraction is 3. So we call it unlike fraction. So we call it unlike fraction. Now moving on, these are the ratios and proportion. Introduction of the ratio and proportion. So firstly we have learned what is ratio. The ratio is the comparison of two quantities and the quantities must be of same kind and the units of quantities must be same. Like example, if we compare land and water on earth, then the ratio of land and water on earth is 1:2, and we have learned how to write a ratio. If we write ratio of carrots to bananas, then it is 12:16. If we reverse the order of the ratio, that is if we have to write the ratio of bananas to carrots, then it is 16:12. Why? Because the number of bananas is 16. It is written first, so we write it as first term, and the carrot is second term, so we write it as second term. And the first term of a ratio is called antecedent and the second ratio of a term is called consequent. These are the introduction of ratio. Now moving on, if we go further, we have find the most important thing of a ratio is we have learned about many topics. So if we have length, so we measure the length in meters. If we have another topic area, then we measure area in square meter or square centimeter. If we have volume, we have measured the volume as cubic centimeter, cubic meter and cubic kilometer or something, or liter. Then if there is a measurement, there must be a unit for something, but in some cases there are no units, because that is the case of ratio, because we have comparing the ratio of same kind and the units of that quantities must be equal. Then there will be no unit. Then there will be no unit in ratio. In ratio there are no units. The most important and the point must be noted that the ratio have no units. That is the important thing, that the ratio have no units. Now moving further, so we have one more example, that if we have one more example, that we have a box. If we have a box and this box contains 30 white balls, 5 black balls, and if we compare the ratio of white balls to black balls, we have first written white balls. The number of white balls is 30 and second, we have second written black balls. That is the consequent, the second term is black balls and number of black balls is 5, therefore we write is 30:5. If we reverse the order, if the order is reversed, then ratio of black balls to white if we reverse the order, that ratio of black balls to white balls, so the black ball is the first term, that is antecedent, and antecedent is written first, so we call it first term, and number of black balls is 5, so we know first write 5, and there is a sign of ratio, and the second term is called consequent, and the number of white balls is the second term, so therefore we write 30 as second term, and the ratio becomes 5:30. If we write white balls to black balls, so first write white balls first term, black balls second term, the ratio is 30:5, and if we reverse the ratio, if we reverse the number of balls, if we compare black balls to white balls, the ratio becomes 5:30, and if we reverse the ratio, if we reverse the comparison units, then the ratio also be inverse. That is what we have learned today. So these are enough to solve that exercise 15A. So everyone have to solve exercise 15A in your book and the other questions in your PC copy. Thank you.